Okay, so we'll take a look in this video at how we can add some automation to sounds and effects. So I've got a little loop going here. I've got some drums on my first group. My second group, I've got a little synth sound. So automation is a way of just getting stuff to move, parameters to move over the course of time. And we can write it into patterns in Maschine. And we use this button over here, the auto button, in order to do this. So I might just this pattern currently is just 1 bar long. So let's double this pattern. So it's a 2 bar pattern. And let's record in some automation. So as an example, you're looping over this sound, thinking what might be quite cool. I'm going to look at some of these controls. Bring that high freak up. Bring the resonance up. Increase the reverb. And the release. And write that movement into the pattern. So a way we can do this is just hold down the automation button and bring up an instant view of the software as well whilst I do this, and move that resonance up and down. And now that automation is written into the pattern. And let's hold the automation down again, and the high freak. Let's write in some automation on the high freak control. Now it's written into the pattern. So that's just by holding down automation, and then any parameter changes will get written in. That movement will get written into the pattern. But I can actually lock this automation button. So holding shift and then pressing on the automation button, you can see it stays lit. So now any parameter movements will be automatically without me having to press down on the automation button. This is going to get written in, so I'm going to write in some reverb. And what else do we have here? Some panning. Why don't we pan this? And so I've written all of that automation into the loop using the combination of the automation lock and just holding automation and adjusting parameters. We see on the software now, we can see, if I go back to my first page, the macros, we can see all the automation on these parameters moving. I've written all of that in, and also we can see at the bottom here my automation lanes. So we can go ahead and start adjusting these if we want. We need to change the grid setting if we want to adjust a larger part of the automation. Use our brush, and we can then adjust our automation if we want to manually on the software. I mean, I find that a very unnatural way. Machine's all about the controller, so I find this a very unnatural way to adjust or edit the automation. But what you can do on here, which is quite convenient, is you can just get rid of automation lanes like this and then redo it all again. That. So our automation gets written in there, and the same works for, say, I'll mute that synth for now. We're on a sampler and I want to write some automation on the kick drum or the snare, say. Tune it up We can do that. Hold Shift, automation. And I can write in the automation. So it doesn't need to be a synthesizer, it can be a sampler. And any of the parameters that we see along here, we can start writing in automation. If you do lock it, remember to turn it off when you've finished writing in your automation, because then all the stuff that you do will start to get written in as automation without you necessarily realizing. So yeah, just the same way as we write it in for a synth patch or a sampler, I can add an effect in here. Reverb. And I can write in parameter changes as automation. Go to the group level, take automation lock off. Now let's add a filter. And write in some automation on the cutoff frequency. Oh, didn't have automation on then. We can get lots of very kind of expressive movement happening on sounds using automation and writing it in very quickly. Okay, so a super quick addition to the automation video was something I forgot to include, was the clear automation button on the pads that we said we'd come back to. It's one pad I think that we've not really covered out of the 16 pads and all the double functions. So I've got this little sequence playing here, and I can write in the automation, you know, either holding the auto and moving some of the parameters, or holding Shift to kind of lock the automation. And let's write in some automation on this pattern. So we can see, if we switch to the software view, we can see the automation and the two automation lanes. And of course we could undo this, but one way, if we had loads of automation still writing in automation, is to very quickly clear the automation on this pattern using this pad here to hold Shift and clear. And it just clears all the automation within the pattern, so I can undo that very easily. And it's just a very quick way if you wanted to write some automation into a pattern, and you did some various bits of automation on some controls, and you didn't really like what you'd added in, then you can very quickly just clear it and then go again and switch to another pattern.